This week is a topic near and dear to my heart. Question: have you ever been called blunt, intense, bossy, rude, aggressive, maybe a bitch, when you were just trying to be clear? If you are a person that identifies as a woman and you have autism, you've probably heard those words more than once. Today, we're unpacking the female autism phenotype and why society's expectations around gender and behavior cause autistic individuals, especially women, to be misunderstood and mischaracterized. Hi, I'm Summer. I'm a keynote speaker and leadership trainer, and I was late diagnosed with autism and ADHD. I'm also a corporate survivor. I help neurodivergent professionals thrive in a workplace that wasn't built for us. I've worked for the Walt Disney Company, HEB, and even a ski resort. Currently, I'm earning my PhD, and my focus? Neurodivergence in the workplace. Because I believe that organizations, they need to understand how our brains work, lead, and succeed. So what is the female autism phenotype? The female autism phenotype is a term that's used to describe how autism may present differently in women and girls, especially when compared to the male-centered diagnostic criteria of the past. Now, people that have this pattern tend to mask more frequently and intensely. They will mimic social behavior so that they can blend in. Many times they're high achieving, but absolutely internally exhausted, and they may appear fine to others, but they're constantly suppressing their authentic selves. Now, this pattern is more common in women, but it's important to say this. It is not about biological sex or gender identity. Men can experience this as well. Non-binary folks can experience this. Autism is a spectrum for a reason, and there's no one way of how autism looks. It could look different. There's no one way as to how autism looks, just like there's no one way to be male, female, or non-binary. Now, many times, women with autism can be seen as rude, abrasive, or too much. Part of this stems from societal expectations. Culturally, we expect men to be direct and women to be indirect. Men are praised for confidence while women are praised for warmth. Women are supposed to be nurturing and empathetic and emotionally attuned. But autistic communication doesn't always match those expectations. For many of us in the autistic community, we're direct, and that can come across as cold. We're passionate, and that comes across as intense. We're logical, and that reads as lacking empathy. And we skip small talk, and that reads as unfriendly. Now, it's not that we're violating any universal rule of kindness. It's that we're not conforming to a gendered rule book that most of us never agreed to, and many of us aren't even aware it existed. So when we show up as ourselves, as our authentic selves, we are often labeled as rude. Not because we are, but because we're failing to meet expectations we were never designed to fit. I lived this at Disney. I brought passion, excitement, and big ideas to every meeting. I loved my work, and I wanted to make things better. Feedback, you've heard me say it before, it always started the same way. We love your passion, but. And then came the redirection, the softening, suggestion that my passion was too much. And I quickly internalized this and made it a part of myself, my intensity, my style, me. I was the problem. So I toned myself down. I over-edited my emails. I rehearsed my tone. I hid. I didn't stop being passionate, but I stopped showing it. And what happened was I ended up coming across as inauthentic. I lost myself in the process to the point where within the past few years, I remember talking to somebody and saying, who I was when I was younger and who I am now, they no longer match. I was trying so hard to be something that I wasn't because I thought that what I was wrong or bad. And it wasn't, it was just different from what the expectations were. Now, if this resonates with you, here are a few things that I want to offer you. The very first thing, you are not broken. You're misread. The problem isn't your directness. It's not your logic. It's not your clarity. The problem is that the system expects you to lead like someone you're not. Second thing, gendered expectations are not your responsibility. We need to be aware of them. We need to know what they are, but we don't owe the world a performance of softness to make our ideas palatable. We can be kind and we can be direct. We can lead with clarity and we can lead with care. Just because I doesn't want to talk about the weather doesn't mean that I'm not friendly. These contradictions can exist in the same person. Now, the third is we can adjust with intention and not out of fear. There may be times when we adapt our delivery to meet the moment. I know that when I'm adapting, depending on the situation, I can tone it down or I can pick it up. But it's a choice that I make and not shame. It's what I'm trying to get from the situation. What makes the most sense? What tool in my toolbox can I use? Number 4, we can create our own rule book. We can define what leadership looks like for us. Maybe it's direct. Maybe it's structured. Maybe it's quietly brilliant, but whatever it is, it's yours. One of the ways that I did this when I worked at Disney was when I would go in, I would have conversations with my new team and I would tell them,
chances are I'm going to do something that's going to bother you. If you don't tell me, I can't fix it. But if you do tell me, then we can work together.
It would always take a couple of weeks. There would be that one brave cast member that would come up and say,
hey, you know how you said we could give you feedback? Yes. Well, I have some feedback for you.
You could tell they were testing the waters. But by setting that expectation, I let them know we could have that conversation. And I rewarded them and recognized for being willing to have that conversation. You see, when we're creating the rule book, we don't have to do it the way that everybody else has done it. We do have to do it, especially if you're in a leadership position, in a way that includes your team, but we can set it up in a way that benefits everybody. And the coolest thing that would happen was when I would share those expectations and tell people,
hey, I'm a little quirky,
or whatever that looked like, they would start sharing with me their stuff as well. And so it created unintentionally, completely unintentionally, this sense of safety that we could share our vulnerabilities, what makes us different and what makes us unique. Now, number 5 is remember, autism is a spectrum. The female autism phenotype, it's a lens, not a box. You don't have to look autistic in a specific way to be valid. There's room for you just as you are. And the more that we talk about autism and how it really shows up in the workplace, across genders and styles and strengths, the closer we get to a workplace that actually works for us. You are not too much, you are not too blunt, you are not broken, you're autistic, and you're not alone. Now, if this video resonates with you, stick around. A new video focused on the neurospicy workplace comes out every single Monday. But until then, don't forget, you got this. I'll see you next week.